On our last visit to Santa Barbara, on one of the days, we ended up starting to drive around. I had on my list of things to do, had a list of some of the famous Adobes around the city. So we drove around a couple. There were some California historic markers that we saw. Some of these buildings you can't go into, but many of them have the historic markers in front of them, so you can at least drive by, see them. All right, we're walking and we taking a little stroll in Santa Barbara and came across the Leandro Gonzalez Adobe.
The location.
Yeah.
It in 1908 it was actually removed. All you have is just the basic foundations of it, but they know it's here.
So it used to be here.
Yeah. So the Leandro Gonzalez Adobe was at this location on a small promontory overlook of a fresh water pond. He was born in 1792. Wow, that's a long time ago. He was the son of Rafael Geraldo Gonzalez, who was a soldier at the Presidio. His mother, Tomasa Quintero, was one of the original settlers of Pueblo of Los Angeles. I'm looking through a gate here. Leandro Gonzalez constructed the Adobe 1824, planted vineyards. He was appointed as the Juez de Campo, or field overseer of the mission. He subsequently served as the major domo, or local administrator of the mission, from 1840 to 1843. It was around for 75 years, but then they took it down. Here's an actual little picture of it.
So it used to be
On this site. Yeah. Now they've got something else built up, but I don't know if they moved the foundation to somewhere else or they just built on top of it.
And this location is at the corner of De La Guerra and Garden Street. Where are we going?
We are going to 627 Canal Street, which is now Olive Street. They changed the name in 1922. This is the place where all the Ornellises were when they first came to United States.
Ornelas? That doesn't sound Welsh or British, Julie.
It's not. It's actually kind of Spanish, but
Very Spanish.
yes, but they came from Mexico.
And they were your peoples?
They were my peoples. My grandmother with my great-grandmother and all her brothers and sisters.
And this was quite a neat place to live.
Beautiful.
They should have stuck around.
They couldn't afford it.
Yeah. Priced out of the market.
Yeah, I think Juana, my great-grandmother, worked as a housekeeper. And that's how she made her living.
And today, the structure stands where your peeps lived.
It still stands. It looks probably very different.
But today, it's the home of JMPE, Electrical Engineering and Lighting Design.
Yes, it is.
Once the home of Julie's Plan.
I poured it up there. Kind of wonder what the original looked like. The original built.
It's got to be fairly close.
An add-on in the back.
Yeah. So another addition to homes where your ancestors once lived?
You think they let me go in?
You can always knock on the door.
But it's probably so different on the inside, right?
Yeah.
And I decided I was going to go knock on the door. And somebody answered the door, and he was an absolute delight. He was such a great gentleman, and he was very open to us coming in. I asked, do you mind? Can I come in and look at the home? And he was like, sure.
Yeah, because
he asked his boss first.
Yeah, you shared the story that your family at one point, almost 100 years ago, lived in this house.
Lived in the house. And so he let us in, and it was all redone. But he was saying that, this part's original, and the coffer ceiling was original, and most of the walls were original, but I think there was some he said were probably knocked out. And this was a tiny, teeny little home. And as I'm doing my research, I'm realizing that not only did my grandmother live there, but so did my great-grandmother, and so did all my great-uncles, and so did their wives. So there was at least, when I was trying to do a count, I think I got up to 12. There was at least 12 people living in that home. I don't even know how to explain it. To know that my grandmother, as a young lady, she was like 16 years old, was in this home and worked in this home and probably made meals in that home and scrubbed the laundry, and I just imagined what it was like to be there. And it was quite special.
Hey, so because I didn't film so much like inside, tell me about your experience going inside.
It was weirdly emotional. Is that weird? Even though my grandmother's been gone a long time, you still have all the memories. And I think that's what gets you. And but it's not like what it looked like, but you could see copper ceilings and some of the original work in there, and it was kind of cool. Very small though. I think about how many people it must have lived in here, and it's tiny. Tiny.
That's the way it was once upon a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very cool. Very nice.
All right, so one more time, Julie, remind me, your grandma used to live here?
My grandmother, Ornelas, Gloria, lived in the house on Canal Street. It is now Olive Street. This is the first house that they came to. So,
Hey, so with a house like this, you knew that what the address was from, I guess, some research that you've done, right?
census.
Yeah, from census information, but the census information had a street of a different name. How did you learn that the name got changed to Olive Street? Where did that
Through
come
Lupe. Through Lupe, because Lupe knew that. And she had written in a letter that said, we lived on Canal Street, but it's not that anymore.
Okay.
But I didn't know what it was, so
Yeah.
I just Googled, said,
Okay.
Olive Street came up.
Yeah, because I guess if somebody's doing research, you could come across something like that and get kind of stuck in your tracks if there was a street name change, right?
Yeah,
So, yeah.
you could.
Yeah.
It's pretty, it was easy to find out that it was changed to Olive through Google, through the internet. But I was specifically looking for a name change, so I don't know how easy it would come up if you're not specifically looking.
All right, so we saw, like 3 houses that your people lived in Los Angeles last year. Got a new one this year.
Yeah.
I guess where's the next ones? Like in Iowa or some such place?
Yeah, I have all my grandfather, great-grandfather Anton, actually built homes over there. So there's actually homes that were built by his hands in Iowa.
All right, that'll be
So we need to go see those.
future road trip.
Yeah,
Until then, now it's time to maybe grab a bite to eat in Santa
maybe.
Barbara.
I think so, yeah.
All right.